Namah Shri Shankarananda Gurupadam Bhujjanmane Savilas Mahamoha Grahya Grasaik Karmane. Salutation. Namaste. Namaste means I am you and you are me. But at present I am not you, I am not the real self. Hence, I am undertaking a journey today. Today again I will find myself. This is the highest aspiration of a seeker. To the lotus feet of the Guru we have already discussed deluded thinking, doubt, and then recognizing the mistake. After recognizing the mistake, we reach to a point where we drop our ego and we are ready for it. No sleeping, please. Savilasa Mahamoha. No, you can open the eyes, and now we delude, great delusion with all the manifestations. We drop the delusion. And when we drop the delusion, we already find that real self. We already find that real self. So instead of thinking in the morning, the mind automatically thinks it's a bad morning, it's a crazy day, my mood is not good. If I do it regularly, the time comes, the mind changes. The mind changes to Shreyas. So this text means that you are at the highest level of a seeker. You have minimized tamoguna, you have minimized rajoguna, your mind is not distracted, it is not wandering, it is focused. Then you listen to it and we reach there. I want to bring something interesting. It is amazing. Is it not amazing that one knows what real self is? It is not amazing because it cannot be seen by the sense organs. It cannot be fully comprehended by the mind. And it is also amazing that one speaks about it. One speaks what is not seen. It is also amazing that one listens about the real self. Is it also not amazing that one treats the path of self-discovery? I want to be a millionaire. Physically, we can say that. I want to buy a mansion. I want to buy this. I want to get married. Everything is visible, objectified. But here, real self is subjective reality. It is not amazing. And amazing that after listening and learning, one is not able to fully grasp and recognize it. What is the pointer? Again, I am bringing this message from the Gita. The great Master Krishna says it points to a consistent listening and learning, contemplation and reflection. When you consistently listen and learn, contemplate and reflect. But why? Because it is very subtle. What does it mean by the subtle? The sense organs cannot comprehend it, and it is the subjective reality. It is not the objective reality. Subtle means you cannot touch. Make it very simple. You cannot find the color of the real self. You cannot find the taste. It is not amazing. And still amazing, when it cannot be objectified, still people recognize it, still people realize it. That is the beauty of this journey. So, one who knows that amazing moments in one's life, oh, amazing moments in life, then we become a seeker. This is another way to become a seeker. No, I want to find out. I want to find out. I want to find out. So this master starts with an invocation or the Mangalacharan. We are already clear about it. Why not start the day with the mind discovering, even if you don't want to find the real self, your personal, professional, social life will be better. How simple it is. No, mind, you need not to go anywhere. Don't say, it's a bad morning, it's a crazy day, the traffic makes me, we use the word, lot of words in America. So we don't need to use it. Whatever thought, speech, and action are expressed, it comes from the mind first. So it is always good. We wake up in the morning, mind starts thinking, it's a bad morning. No, nothing. Let me change it. Then what happened in the second step, in the first 4 verses, the master says, witness consciousness. Now I'm giving you another way to understand. What is witness consciousness? That does not change. I get a glimpse of subjective reality. What it means? Do you remember a waking state, sleep state, dream state? That consciousness always remains. That is subjective. That is the subjective reality. That is my real self. So we should get a glimpse of that real self every day in life. Light is there, yes, light is there. How do you know that light is there? I can see your face. You can see me. I can see the background. Okay, if I'm not there, light will not be there. No, light will be there. Oh. Same way that real self is always there. Whether you are in a waking state, in a dream state, or in a sleep state. So that is what we discussed at length. It is, in Sanskrit, it is known as the Sakshi Chaitanya. The literal meaning of mindfulness is witness consciousness. That is why we say mindfulness is not a practice, it is a state. So all our teachers uses different explanations, but then the third step, we understood that we have to settle the mind in a witness consciousness by recognizing the 6 modifications. Let us take the reference of the body. The body, a body is in physical. My physical body was in an existence in the womb of my mother. Manifestation started. Then Jayate, being born, it was born. It came out of the womb of the mother. So there is a change. Viparanamyate means changing. It is growing. Vardhate is the growing. It grows. Then it reaches to a stage of maturity. Then it starts decline and ultimately it perishes. So why we study this? Why we should recognize this? So that we should get detached. We should find a power of discernment. Our intellect should become clear from the impurities of the mind, and the mind would be able to perceive, will get a subtle level of perception. So that is our Step number 3. First step is the Mangalacharan. Second step, witness consciousness. Third step, I'm making in a step so that you can easily remember. And every day, just okay, Mangalacharan, let me do it. Absorb myself. Second two, let me see the witness consciousness. I gave an example. Let me see the light. Light, sun rays, sunlight. I can see the house. There is no sunlight, I cannot see the house. But it means sunlight is the consciousness. I ask you to go into the dark room full of darkness and find out who is there. You go there, it is darkness. You come back and you say, no one is there. But who is reporting me, no one is there? You are there. So you can see yourself not through the senses. You can still see yourself in the darkness. That is what the witness consciousness is. So in the third, if we want to progress, we have to find out whatever is changing. I have to closely look. I love this computer screen. Is it not changing? Yes, it is changing. Room, house, body. So we come closer and we see the body undergoes 6 changes. And whatever is changes is not me. Why? How? Why and how? You get the honors roll in your secondary school, high school. Do you remember that? Yes, I remember. But that secondary school or high school boy is dead. It's no more. You are still there. How do you know that you are still there? It is the same I that continued. Same I. Same I. When I was a child, when I was adolescent, when I was youth. Now, the same I. No, that I changed. No, your mind changed. That I changed. No, it is your intellect changed. But even if you insist me that I changed, so one I who got the honors roll and now the present I. So that I is already dead. You say that I has changed. So it means when that I is dead, you don't remember anything about your school days. That is the third step, that in the midst of all the changes, there is one thing that remains unchanged. Now I'm just converting into the steps. Next 4 steps, our master says the real self. Now, once we understand that yes, there is something which we call the real self or the pure consciousness. So now he explains what exactly is the nature of the real self. The real self is of the nature of Sat, existence, consciousness, and bliss, permanent happiness, Sat Chetana. That real self is Sat Chit Anand. So when we say pure consciousness, we mean Sat Chit Anand, existence, consciousness, and bliss. So body exists because of existence, yes. Mind exists because of existence, yes. Intellect exists because of existence, yes. Anxiety exists because of existence, yes. Stress exists because of existence, yes. Pleasure exists because of existence. If there is no existence, one, and the very existence is conscious, reflected through the mind, and it is aware that I am into anxiety, I am into stress, I am into duality and a conflict. That is the step 4. So why we understand the consciousness as existence, consciousness and bliss? So that we can understand our impurities, our ignorance, our delusion clearly. So that clarity comes by when we understand this real self is of the nature of existence, consciousness, and bliss. Now you see logical question. I have been telling you sum of angles of a triangle is 180-degree. Prove it. If you prove it, you get full marks. But if you say that you already know sum of angles of a triangle is 180-degree, why to prove it? It means you did not understand, you are still in ignorance. So the step 5 raises the question. Master raises the question, but I don't experience the happiness all the time. I am not in a state of permanent happiness. How you say it? So the master gives an example. Do you know the chorus singing? One student and his father says, yes, I know and I don't know. I know and I don't know. So what is this confusion? This confusion is called the superimposition. Superimposition, delusion, ignorance, impurities, you use any word. But here, specifically if we use superimposition, it makes a sense. That is why we have 50 students, they all are singing. One of them is the son of a father who says, yes, are you listening? Yes and no. Yes and no. What is this yes and no? This is the superimposition. Step number 5. Yes, step number 5. Now step number 6. Master says that, we have to understand who is looking. The son is there, individual. And father is also an individual. 50 students are also individual. Who is this individual? Which I say I, you, me, he, she. Behind the label. Behind the label of father, mother, son, daughter, who is this individual? And then the master comes with a beautiful understanding. He says, you are conscious, hence there is a consciousness present. Do you agree? Yes. So consciousness plus rajo guna is you. So it means consciousness reflected through the Rajoguna is an individual. So you may have a little more Satoguna. That is why you are calm and relaxed, but Rajoguna is predominant. Rajoguna means activity. So the consciousness plus Rajoguna is an individual. Consciousness plus Satoguna is the Ishwar, which we refer as a God, or who controls all the gunas, and consciousness plus Tamoguna is the material world. What is the common factor? That astonishes us. So it means consciousness plus Tamoguna is the computer screen, is the wall, is the watch. Is this virtual session? Answer is yes. And consciousness plus Rajoguna, that Rajoguna says, I am listening, I am the student, you are the teacher, I am the long list, I am the father, I am the son. It all comes from the consciousness plus Rajoguna. Question is, am I controlled by these gunas? Yes. When I say it's a crazy morning, I'm controlled. It's a good morning, controlled. I got a lot of money, controlled. I don't have any money controlled. Because when I say I don't have it, so there is a sense of incompleteness. I will make an effort to get it, and hence a sense of incompleteness caused by so let us move into the step 6 little deeper. Pure consciousness, when veiled by Rajoguna, now I'm using another term that you have to live with. When veiled by ignorance, I don't know my real nature, so I'm in ignorance. So I'm saying pure consciousness, veiled by ignorance, loses awareness of its real nature. Or you can say consciousness plus avidya or ignorance. You can say plus rajoguna. You can also say plus panchakosha, the 5 covering, is equal to individual. We will understand this. We will understand this. We will analyze this and understand this. So why the consciousness plus rajoguna leads to ignorance, and why it leads to ignorance? Are you listening to me? Yes, I am listening to you. So who is that individual who is listening in ignorance about the real self? So this I is the ego. So ignorance leads to ego. Why ego? Because of raga and dvesha, attachment and detachment. But why there is a attachment and detachment? Because in ignorance I am settled in the body. For all practical purposes, I claim I am the body which is subjected to 6 changes, My ego continues its journey in these 6 changes. That is why we say consciousness plus ignorance is equal to individual, or rajoguna is individual. When we move at the subtler level, we will talk about the 5 koshas also. Pay attention. I am speaking. Instead of inquiring who this I is inside, I am referring this I, body, sense organs, plus mind, plus intellect, and I gave a name I. There is no I in it. No, it's a body, it's a mind, it's 5 sense organs, it's a throat, larynx, which is producing this sound. Where is the I? But still I use it. Yes, with reference to the body, mind, breath, intellect, and ego. But where it has come? From where it has come? It has come because of attachment and detachment. But where is the main culprit? Culprit is that I am settled in the body. I am the body which undergoes 6 changes. How it is happening? Because of Rajoguna. And Tamoguna, you can add it. Or it happens through the 5 koshas. We will understand that step by step. I'm just introducing that. So it means there is an Rajoguna, there is ignorance, and there is a 5 koshas. Where is Ishwar? Now, for the time being, we are taking incidental diversion. We will focus on the real self. But now we compare it with what is Ishwar in the individual. Means that God in the individual. That God in the individual is consciousness plus satoguna, because three gunas are always together. So there is a deeper state behind the individual, deep inside, that consciousness and rajoguna, satoguna are together, which is what we say the God. Or you can say the innermost self. That is why in every meditation we say, close your eyes, move inside. We are moving from rajoguna to tamoguna. So we understand the triangle. You extend each side of a triangle. It is a triangle. You extend this side, you extend this side. So you have an angle here. You have an angle here. So by understanding these two angles, you understand what is inside. Same thing. So where is the Ishvara? It is the innermost self. We have defined pure consciousness plus satoguna is that. That is now we will understand the relationship between this individual and the innermost self. The individual is not only within the same individual, you, me, he, she, within, deep inside, is Ishvara. And I gave a pause. Did you understand it? Because consciousness plus satoguna is Ishvara. And that is the innermost self. Innermost self of whom? It is of the individual. How can you say, can you give me some example? Yes, you practice meditation, you experience calmness, peace, and the joy which is independent of anything and everything outside. That is your innermost self. You have allowed the manifestation of the innermost self. Yes, that is one example. And because consciousness plus satoguna plus rajoguna plus tamoguna, individual, Ishvara, and the world. So there is only one reality that we have to prove. If we prove it, that is only one reality. We have achieved that goal. I am throwing one more thought for you to contemplate. An individual is not a part of innermost self. Individual is not within the innermost self. It is the innermost self. At present, I am the outermost self working with five koshas, with the mind in ignorance, with ego, guided by the limitedness. That is why I experience that I am a pot space, I am not a vast space. Again, I'm bringing the metaphor to explain it. What did I say? Pot space, cup, the space, and the infinite space outside. It is exactly one. Can you say the pot space is a part of the infinite space? No, it is one. It is one space. Same thing like gold, jewelries, a ring, a necklace, and a bracelet. They are gold. They are not the part of the gold. When we say innermost self, it is not the part. It is not within. It is. It is. So that Ishvara is not someone We worship outside, but the self I realize within. It is that same reason I realize within. When I realize, when all the false identities drop, when the ignorance drops. Now look at the superimposition. An individual appears to exist within Ishwar as a limited expression. It just exists as a limited expression. Ishwar is the container, substratum, and essence of all the individuals. That is why we say God is everywhere. Relationship resembles waves arising within the ocean. Ocean is waves in the ocean. Each individual is nothing but the wave rises, falls, rises and falls due to karma and sanskaras. You have to be familiar with these terms, and once you are clear with these terms, the thing will be clear. Ishwar is like the sun, radiating infinite light, knowledge, and power. Individual is like a mirror. It reflects the same light, but partially and with distortion due to the impurities. What are those impurities? Ego, ignorance, desire, duality, conflict. My master used to explain differently, but obviously my expression has to be different. It is the same. So that individual is like 10 buckets of water, 10 buckets filled with the water reflecting the sun. The sun is only one. So we all are simply the buckets of water where the sun is reflecting. So there are not two consciousnesses. There are not 8 billion consciousnesses. There is only one consciousness. Reflecting 8 billion buckets. Each bucket is an individual. I feel I'm limited. Why I feel I'm limited? Because I'm the body. Because I'm the body. If I'm not the body, you drop the idea of that I'm the body, you are clear. You are clear. Let us participate in the discussion and reflection. Who is going to pick up this reflection? I gave you in steps, so let us take a lead. Whosoever wants to take a lead.
I'll go. I was thinking, I know you tell us not to do this, but how funny it would be to go around today and call people limited expressions of God. Hello, limited expression of God. But I was also, in all seriousness, thinking about how when I was little, like a young child, that I had an awareness of something separate from myself that's the same that I have now, but the evolution of my limited lived experience with all the things that you've always talked about, the gunas and the past impressions and the detachment, I think probably in a lot of ways has taken me farther away from. It's harder to get there somehow than maybe it was when I was little. So in some ways, the embodiment makes it harder. When I think the purpose of it, from the perspective of consciousness, is to bring you closer. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes. I would pick up one aspect of it. In young age, when we were child, we were spontaneous, we were full of happiness. We did not know that happiness comes from outside, but we were happy. We were full of that state of happiness. So that is one experience. We are an unlimited, infinite being, but we don't have that I-ness to recognize it. We did not have that level of self-awareness which we have now. But now, because of that self-awareness, is already entangled that I'm the body, mind, breath, intellect, so we have a problem. Yes, rightly said. Yes, beautifully. Yes, beautifully. We are. We are basically, that is what we need to understand. That pure consciousness plus Satoguna first, that is our goal, innermost self. And then we will go further. Yes, anyone wants to share?
I can go. I was thinking about your statement that individual is not the part of the real self, but it is the real self itself. And I think what this means is being an individual means identifying with the limited perception.
Yes.
And with limited perception of what? Of the real self.
Yes.
So as I understand it, the sense organs and the mind, also being a manifestation of the real self, have the ability to perceive certain aspects of the real self. So for example, eyes perceive real self as light, and ears perceive the same real self as sound, and so on. And when the identification happens with a certain part of the perception, of the limited perception, then the individual is born. And when the perception is not limited, then there is no place for individuality.
Beautifully said.
And that brings me to the question. Am I right to say that for any perception or experience to take place, there has to be at least a tiny bit of ignorance? Because if ignorance is absent 100%, then there is no one to perceive, and then there is nothing to perceive.
Yes, to live in the empirical world, outside the world of name and the form, that level of ignorance has to be there. And that ignorance is done naturally by Rajo and Tamoguna. So we need not to worry about it. We need not to worry. It is by default. If I'm a human being, that is by default. I know here is a wall, so I have to go through the door. Yes, you're right. But there is a simultaneous awareness of infinity. This is more important. There is a limited individuality will continue to work as long as this body exists. But at present, there is no simultaneous awareness of all pervading consciousness that is I am. So in awakening state, you have both. Same example of necklace, ring of gold. Either you only see it is a necklace and a ring, or you see both at the same time. Is it not possible? It is possible. Both are possible at the same time. There has to be a simultaneous awareness. Waves in the water. No, no, it's only beautiful waves. No, it is water also. Necklace, no, it is gold also.
But for simultaneous awareness to happen, there has to be something, someone who is simultaneously aware. And
Right.
that someone has to have at least a little of ignorance to identify itself with someone, himself with someone.
That is why we are studying what is the physical level, what is the causal level, what is the subtle level. How the subtle body causes that individuality to happen as an apparent reality. But behind that, who creates, who manifests this apparent reality is the real self. Because if there is no projection in the mind, apparent reality is not there. Consciousness reflected in the mind causes the I thought. If it is not reflected, I thought do not exist. That is your apparent reality. Can it happen simultaneously? It happens simultaneously. Do I need to create an apparent reality? Answer is no. It happens. It is the way the real self manifests and works in the world outside. But more when we understand that subtler level, that is why we are understanding how physical body, subtle body, and the causal body. So at present we are talking at the causal level, Ishwar at the causal level, individual at the causal level. What is the individual at the causal level? Consciousness plus Rajoguna. Ishwar at the innermost self, consciousness plus Satoguna. Consciousness plus matter or Tamoguna is the body. We are talking at the causal level. So when we allow it to manifest at the subtler level, let it come to the physical level. That is why we talk of the three bodies, so that the things becomes very clear to us. Are you getting it? Yes, your question is very, very important. So I'm going to take it from the next session, all the three levels. Yes, anyone who wants to share?
I'll go. What became apparent to me after this in the lesson, and then Dennis sort of struck something with me, is that our true self is born, and we are a curious existence. As kids, we're very curious, and we kind of ask questions, we try to learn and things like that. And I think as we age and get older, we tend to turn that learning desire down. And I think that society kind of satisfies us with the answer, so we just kind of move on to the next thing. But one of the best business lessons I ever learned was take everything to the first principle. And if you think about that, like everything, like your triangles, so who is the light, the 10 buckets. And I think that's a very fascinating awakening for me, is to really focus on that. And again, I think that we're limited as human beings too, because we don't fully understand infinity or the infinite, because everything that we can see and touch and feel and whatever is finite. So combining those two things together creates a new level of journey.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. You're right. You see that I will further clarify that will come in these texts. We have understood the three gunas intellectually. Now we will bring it at the applied level, at the experiential level. What is these three gunas? What is exactly is the prakriti? What exactly is the ignorance? So when we understand it and we experience, there is an experiential understanding that at the apparent level there is a teacher and there are students, but in fact they do not exist. Knowledge is coming from the highest consciousness and it is manifesting itself in a particular moment, in a particular environment, in a particular setup. That is what happens. That is what is happening. But yes, at the apparent level, you say, I taught you, I taught you, and that I learned. But the knowledge is always available. Gold is always available. Simultaneous awareness. Yes, anyone wants to share? It is little tougher and dry, but we need common sense intellect to understand it. So once we use the common sense intellect to understand, it becomes an experiential understanding. This is what this master is taking us to. Close your eyes. Eyes are closed. And now say, pay attention. Who closed the eyes? That is very important. Can you ask who closed the eyes? The ignorant will say, yes, I closed the eyes. What's the big deal? So why it is ignorance? Because it is ignorance because... Can you answer that to yourself? Yes, I can answer to myself. So that I does not exist. I, quote unquote, does not exist. Why? You explore, contemplate, and reflect. Eyes, not me. I'm not my eyes, so I did not close my eyes. Eyes are closed. Fact is there. Apparent reality is there, but behind that I-ness is dissolved. But from where the I has come, it has come from the ignorance, and that is what we are going to solve this puzzle. What exactly is this ignorance or superimposition or delusion at a subtler level? You got the future reference, and now look at being placed, position in the posture. Something popped up in my mind. The place of the body. Place of the body. Body is made up of 5 elements. So what is the place of 5 elements? Position of the body. What is the position of 5 elements? I'm saying the same thing to you. The gold necklace Where is the gold in the gold necklace? That is what is the place, position, and posture is. But we are so much hooked, so much heavily conditioned. We have a luxury to use the I. Don't tell me, are you crazy? I'm sitting here. No, you're not sitting, it's the body. It's a gold necklace, not the gold. Do you see? That reflection is required again and again. Being comfortable, comfort, I have already explained deeply. Comfort. When you are comfortable, is the comfort all pervading, or it is only in you? No, it is only in me. Really? Outside there is a chaos and you can still be comfortable. What it indicates? Situational comfort is not we are talking about. Comfort comes from the consciousness. And being carefree. Now, in being carefree, we already understood the 6 modifications of the body. Modification means keeps on continuous changing. So there is a change and there is a knower of the change. Who knows the change is taking place? That is the knower and the seer. These are the 2 main factors for knowing anything, for acquiring knowledge. So what you know keeps on changing, and who knows does not change. That you is the witness consciousness. But if that you feels I am changing, means what? Superimposition. Are you getting it? I'm summarizing all the 7 steps we did it today. So what should we do? You see that you have to extract. The more you reflect, it becomes an amazing experience. What is that? More you reflect, what? We have already done. There is someone which I can refer the real I present in the sleep state, dream state, and waking state. So it means what? I'm not a waker. Why? I'm not a waker. It keeps on changing. I will sleep today and the waker will come tomorrow. Sleep state keeps on changing. Dream state keeps on changing. So there is something, someone who is different and separate. So that is where the knower and the known comes. I know the waking state, sleep state, dream state. I also know that there is something beyond that. So we bring it at a very primary level. Thought is coming? Yes. Thought is going? Yes. Thought comes and goes. Now pay attention. I know thought has come. I know the thought is staying. I know the thought has gone. That I know is consistent, continuous. Provided you don't fall asleep. If you fall asleep, you are already gone. So there is a mess up and mixed up. You are already in ignorance. How can you recognize it? So we brought the principle at a very beginner's level. But beginner's level does not mean that you cannot go deeper. Why? Consciousness is the same, knower is the same. It is not like a science. So what exactly, you all use the word aware, and yes, who is aware? So is there an awareness? Yes. In that awareness the thought has come? Yes. In that awareness thought stayed? Yes. In that awareness the thought has gone? Yes. In that awareness another thought has come? Yes. What is this awareness, which seems different and separate from all the thoughts? That awareness is the witness consciousness. That witness consciousness at a little higher level is referred to as I. Or you simply say it's a consciousness, that will also work. But because of ignorance, I-ness, heavy cultural, social, and other conditionings, our mind in ignorance mess up. What it mess up? It combines the knower and the known. It combines the I with thought. Then it says, I have a thought. No, you don't have a thought. Mind has a thought. No, I feel the pain. No, you don't feel the pain. Body has a pain. Living in an empirical world, yes, we will continue to say I have a pain, but simultaneous awareness tells me this I do not have a pain. We will learn deeper aspect. What is that aspect? The moment I say I have a pain, so it means I am pain. How can I recognize peace if I am not separate from it? On this topic of knower and the known, another master has written, guided us, witness consciousness, doing nothing. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes, open the eyes inside the palms, know your experiences. Bring the hands down, we'll share our experiences. Teaching is that it doesn't mean that we have attended 1 hour session. Now mind is waiting how to fall into laziness, sleep, into other duality and a conflict. That is where the problem is. Attending the session is not a problem. Learning is not a problem. That individual is waiting with millions of impressions. Weird guy, crazy guy has confused me. Now let me grab a cup of coffee. Finished. You are lost. You are in ignorance. Yes, Dennis, you want to say this.
Yes, while in meditation and while listening to you, and while thinking about the knower and the known, another ignorant question emerged in my mind. So we say that there is an unchanging knower that
Yes.
observes the thoughts, and that is what you call a carefree state.
Yes.
And when this knower starts observing the thoughts, so the thought, there was the state when there was no thought, then the thought started emerging, and the knower started to see this thought. So there was a state in the knower when that knower did not see that thought, and then he transitioned into the state when he saw that thought. So there has to be some change in the knower for that transition to happen. Otherwise, the knower cannot see that there was no thought and then the thought emerged. And if that change has to happen, then how do we say that the knower is unchanging?
That is ignorance. Light is falling on my left hand. Are you right? Are you able to recognize this is a thought light is recognizing? Right? There is no left hand. Did the light change?
But the light doesn't recognize anything. It just falls on the.
Yes, let us be into that objectless state. That is, it appears the knower seems to change because of the presence of the object or the thought. In fact, there is no change. Master makes it more clear. There are 3 knowers. Beautiful. This journey is so beautiful. I see through my sense organs. My sense organs are the knower to perceive you, your name in the form. Clear? This sense organ is the knower. It keeps on changing. I recently had cataract surgery and even the eyesight changes. So this knower changes. I agree with you. Second level of knower. Now the mind knows my eyes are closed, my mind is open, my eyes are open. So now second stage, the mind is the knower. Changes. I agree with you. What is behind the mind? That knows the mind. That is consciousness. If that undergoes a change, it means there has to be another consciousness behind that consciousness who does not change and who recognizes everything.
So it appears that that ultimate knower has to know all possible states of the mind at all times.
But it does not change.
So when in the state of being carefree, we know our thoughts, that knower is not the ultimate knower because
Yes,
it perceives how the thoughts are changing.
that's the moment. That is a witness consciousness. For a fraction of a moment, you recognize, oh, this knower is not changing. And again, that knower falls into ignorance, messes up with the thought, and it feels that, I'm stressed, I'm into anxiety. But again, it goes back. It comes, goes back, comes, goes back. That is why we say it is a witness consciousness. We don't say it is yet to be real self. It is a mixture of the mind and pure consciousness. Or you can say it is very near to the Satoguna.
So the witness consciousness is not the real self, but it is very close.
It's very close, very close. But the ultimate knower never changes. That we have to, and it's a proven fact. If the ultimate knower does not change, it does not change, then I'm able to separate the entire world outside, which is subjected to change. And the moment I have recognized superimposition, I have recognized ignorance. I'm already there. Then I can play with the ignorant eye in the empirical world. The empirical eye, which is known as the false eye, real eye, empirical eye keeps on changing. Real eye does not change. We are going through it. You have to complete all the 15 chapters and then you have a doubt. We are just on the 20th verse. How are you? Yes, home to ask David.
Thank you. I just really enjoy the interaction amongst all of us because it just sort of brings up new things. I just want to acknowledge that my meditation was extremely deep, extremely peaceful, and I'm feeling lately going through these meditations this tremendous freedom as I come out of them, and therefore I find myself in my day-to-day life after meditations lately of having real great clarity and great breakthroughs in my everyday life. So thank you.
Beautiful. Even by listening and practicing that knower and the known are two different things. Knower can never become the known. So explore. If the knower becomes the known, you are still in ignorance. And the ultimate knower can never become the known. You have found it. Eureka. That is the journey. That is why we have 15 chapters. So what I wanted to say that even if you listen to it and your mind is absorbed, you feel the calmness and clarity, what the David says. The outcome is great. I have a lot of stress. No, stress is separate from me. Make the two statements, work with the two statements, and you see where you have less stress, where you have more. That is the beauty. Yes, Stephen, you want to say something?
Thank you, sir. I'm very curious about this simultaneous awareness, and there's a lot to absorb in today's lesson and discussions, and I look forward to listening to this over and over again and reading in transcripts. As far as my meditation goes, my meditations continue to just get deeper and deeper. Whether it's during our meetings during the week or every day that I do it myself. And I'm very similar to David, being able to come out and just looking at things quite differently on my own personal day to day. So thank you, and thank you, everybody.
Beautiful said. Consistent listening, learning, contemplation, reflection is required to drop all layers of the ignorance. You'll be surprised, these last 10 verses I've been just explaining you in a variety of ways, almost 10 different ways in the last 10 sessions. But now I will not wait, I will go further. So consistent listening and learning, you are settled there, and you found there is an unchanging, unwavering consciousness is there. Again, I'm reminding you, simultaneous awareness, gold and necklace ring, gold and earring, simultaneous awareness, wave in the water, my house in the space. We have a great opportunity to have simultaneous awareness all the time. How are you, Brandy?
Great, thank you. I agree with David that it's nice to hear from others, especially mid-session, so we can have some time to think. And Dennis, you asked that complicated question about ignorance, which was, I think, kind of a little over my head, but the last thing you said, Girish, in the meditation about separation helped me understand that a little bit better. So using the separation to find peace is sort of synonymous maybe with Dennis's question about ignorance. I'll have to listen some more and think a little bit about that. Because this, like, I know we've said this for years now, but these Saturday sessions, with their simplicity comes a lot of complexity.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Yeah, I'm peaceful in that, but it's like,
Yes, that is very good, peaceful. Earring and the gold. Answer me, are they two or they one? From the standpoint of mind, which is changing, Dennis, they are two. From the standpoint of the consciousness, or from the standpoint of the gold is manifesting as earring, hence it is one. Am I right? So it's a manifestation. Manifestation is not separate. So even earring is gold. Yes. That level, it demands only common sense intellect. I've been telling you, you don't need a higher IQ to go, that is required to go to Harvard. Now, Harvard is also undergoing a change in our present scenario. So anyhow, how are you, Terry? You have to attend these sessions. You need not to go to Harvard. So yeah, Terry, you want to say?
I'm fine. I'm fascinated by the question, but I have nothing to add.
Listen to it again and again. Consistent listening. I told you, it is very amazing that there is a real self which cannot be perceived by the knower, which is sense organ first knower, second knower by the mind. It can be known by the third knower, yes. That knower itself is the real self. No confusion, it is very clear. Once it is clear to you, then I live in objectless state of the reality all the time. Answer is yes. But how can I work with empirical reality? Let the nature, let the Rajoguna and Tamoguna take care of this. Are you thinking that I am sitting, hence you are sitting? Empirical reality will take care of it. Are you thinking that you are listening, that is why you are listening, or you are simply listening? It's happening. That happening is manifestation. That is false I. We give 99% value to the false I, hence we have a problem. Shift 99% to the consciousness, to the real I, finished. But it is not so easy. We will do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste.